Hey y'all, it's Jamie. Welcome back to my channel, Cottage Hodgepodge, where I share with you what I sell each week on eBay through my vintage thrifting, estate sale, and garage sale finds. I sell items on eBay through my store, Cottage Hodgepodge. And today's video is the second week of September's sales. That's September 5th through 11th, 2021. I had a total of $262.40 in sales. And for my cost of goods was $14.38. So first up is this not vintage hoodie. This I found at the thrift store that I like to go to on Tuesdays when they sell the clothes for 49 cents. This hoodie was so cool. It was a rugby style, really thick and heavy. It was a size medium, but it was very small. So it took a while to sell, but I sold it very quickly when I first listed it. I was so excited. If I remember correctly, I think it was my very first clothing item to sell, because I've never sold clothing on eBay before now. I have bought and sold things on eBay for years, but never had an actual store. And I've sold vintage items for many, many years. And I had a booth at an antique mall, and that's where we sold most of our items in the past. But since I started selling through an eBay store, and I have this really great thrift store that sells the clothing for 49 cents on Tuesdays, it seems like a perfect opportunity to source some things that I'm not experienced with, but I'm really enjoying figuring out what works and what doesn't. And at 49 cents, I can afford to experiment some. So anyway, this hoodie was, I think, unworn. It looked brand new. It didn't have the tags under anything, so I listed it as pre-owned, but it did not show any signs of wear whatsoever. It was very clean and brand new looking. And so the brand is Donegal Bay. So it's Donegal Bay Irish rugby hoodie, size medium, and I had put excellent used condition, and green and white stripe and shamrock. So that sold for $32.80. And again, my cost on these clothing items is 49 cents. So that was definitely a good profit. Next was another sweater that I really liked. This one I did not have all that long. It's 89th and Madison, which is a brand I'm not familiar with, but I think I looked it up and I can't remember. I think maybe they sell it at Nordstrom, if I remember correctly. 89th and Madison women's open cardigan, blue-gray floral with embroidery, and I put soft and size small. It was nice and soft sweater, looked very comfy, and had pretty embroidery on both sides. Nice teacher sweater. And it sold for $18, and my cost was 49 cents. So next up is this 1960s oil painting. This is part of a lot that I bought at an estate auction. I got 8 paintings for $1, and this is the second one to sell. This one is beautiful. I kind of, I hung it in my dining room, actually. I hung all of them in my dining room. I kind of made a little art gallery wall out of the paintings that I bought. And this one I was hoping would take a while to sell because I really liked it in there. But it didn't. It sold quickly because it's so pretty. And it was unframed. It's on like a chipboard. And then it has holes in the top and bottom for nails, which was interesting. I'd never seen it like that. But this one I called 1960s oil painting, ombre pink flowers in silver vase, green on wood. And the flowers, I kind of tried to figure out what type of flowers they were so that I could list that, and I couldn't figure it out. So even though I just said pink flowers, that was enough of keywords to get somebody to search it and find it, and it sold for $68.80, and my cost on this was less than 50 cents. Way less than 50 cents, actually. Next is a vintage Avon 1876 Cape Cod collection, a dessert server. It's ruby red. The handle is the ruby red glass. Let's get a better picture. There we go. This whole Cape Cod collection, I bought a box at an estate sale that had several pieces in it. I ended up paying about 50 cents per piece. So this one sold for $8. I took an offer on it, and my cost was 50 cents. Okay, next is a Hamilton Beach hand mixer. This was unused, but not in the box or anything, but you could tell the cord had never been unwrapped. There's a decent picture there of the cord wrapped up, and it has this nice little container at the bottom that holds everything inside it, the beaters and everything. So this is an example of something that I would never have purchased for the purpose of reselling, but there was a lot of items at an estate auction that had 3 Pyrex butter print bowls in it, and so I really wanted those. So this was one of the items that was in the lot. So I went ahead and looked it up to see what it was selling for, and it wasn't selling for much. In fact, they're brand new on Amazon for under 20. I can't remember now, maybe even 15. So I listed it. I think I listed it for $12, and somebody sent me an offer of $8, and so I accepted because it was something that was just kind of an extra item. You know, I wouldn't consider this, part of my purchase. I mean, I guess technically it is, but really my whole cost was for those butter print bowls, because that's what I was really purchasing, and this was just an extra item. So I was able to get a little bit of that cost back by selling this. Next is our Banana Republic gray and black striped wool blend mini skirt. This is so 90s Y2K, something I would have worn in high school for sure. I've picked up several skirts like this at the thrift store for 45 cents, and I really, they always make me feel good when I buy them. They're so memorable. But this one I took an offer of $10, and it was fully lined, and it was a really nice skirt. Okay, next is a Stein. This is something that my husband bought. He's been buying items now also and joining in the fun. This is a Neuschwanstein, which is the most famous castle, or it's the one that the Cinderella's castle is based off of at Disney World. So I would say it's the most famous in Germany. I don't know if that's correct, but the Stein has actually a few of the Germany landmarks. I hope I'm saying all these right. Schloss Linderhof, and I don't even know how to say the third one, but it was a nice souvenir Stein from Germany that he found at an estate lot auction. And so he sold it for $20. I believe his cost on those Steins was $4. He got a few of them in a lot. Next is another item of his that is from the scuba diving lot that we purchased. I've had a couple other items on other videos that we've sold. We purchased the lots for some equipment that we wanted to keep ourselves, and there were several extra items in there, so he's been selling those off to kind of recoup some of his cost on the items that we kept, which is really cool. So this was a Farmer John wetsuit. It's 5 millimeters, so it's nice and thick, and is a size 2XL, which is a great size. So it sold for $30, and our cost is probably around $4 for that item. Next, this sweater got so much attention. I had more views on this than probably any other clothing item I've listed so far. And I don't know, I've never heard of Allison Dailey. It's, my description is vintage Allison Dailey women's sweater, 90s heavy knit embroidered flower, and it was a size medium. And it's really pretty. It's got hand look stitching, at least here on the edges, and then a embroidered flower in the middle, and it's just very 90s, and I think that's probably what sold it. It's also stitched along the bottom and the bottom of the sleeves. So I thought that it would sell for full price because I got so much viewers on it, so many viewers, but I finally got an offer for $12 and accepted that. So even though I had a lot of views, I didn't have very many watchers. So when I got a $12 offer, I did accept that. And my cost on that one, again, is 45 cents. This Hawthorne Plate Vintage Pyrex JAJ Crown, which is the England version of Pyrex from the mid-centuries. The Hawthorne was made in the 1960s. These plates we actually purchased back when we had our booth at the antique mall, and they've been sitting in my closet ever since then. So I don't know what our cost of goods what our cost was on them back then, but I went ahead and listed them when I opened my eBay store, and I've now sold all 3 of them. I had 3 of them left. Although there's 4 in the picture. Actually, one ended up having a large chip on it, so I only listed 3 total. And that was one that I actually had several people sending offers on and sending messages and asking about. And so I was glad that all of those sold. Okay, next is something that my husband purchased in the Friar Tuck lot. Last week we sold the large Stein. This week we sold these 2 little salt and pepper shakers. This one actually has a little chip on his foot, and it's in a little bit rough condition there on their faces, but it sold quickly. I mean, this was only listed for a little over a week. The description is vintage 1950 to 55 Goebel, I think, Friar Tuck monks, salt and pepper shakers, full B. Okay, so on the bottom, the different logos show when the item was made. So because this one had the full B on it, the bumblebee, we knew it was from 1950 to 1955. So that's why that's part of the description. And those are the kind of things that are important when you're listing items that are collectible, is to really do your research and find out what people are looking for. And so we didn't know anything about these Friar. There's salt and pepper shakers, there's creamers, and there was the Stein. There's a couple other items. Oh, there's a condiment jar where it has a little hole like where you would put the wooden honey dipper, or you can use it for jellies and put a little spoon in there or whatever. So we've got those listed still, but these they're apparently pretty collectible, so we were excited to get them because we didn't know what we were getting when we bought the lot. I think he paid $15 and has probably 10 items in there, so around $1.50 cost of goods, and sold for $20. And last for this week is an ornament. I'm so happy that ornaments are starting to sell regularly each week. This one is a wooden pull string ornament. It's pretty neat. It's a firefighter Santa Claus. So I bought a lot of almost 200 firefighter ornaments at an estate sale for $75. So at this point, I have sold enough to recoup my whole $75. So everything that I sell from now through the end of the season will be profit. So that's pretty exciting to be at that point already in the second week of September. So that is my sales for this week. Again, my total sales was $262.40, and my cost of goods was $14.38. After eBay fees and putting money aside for income tax, my estimated take-home profit is right around $150. So, that's not a ton, of course, but, an extra $600 a month in your pocket is pretty nice. So as we keep building our store, hopefully that number will go way up, but it's definitely a good start for only having our store for 3 months now. So we're pretty happy with how it's going. If you enjoy these videos, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and give this one a thumbs up. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.